Good morning, everybody. Hope all is well. Welcome to the Women in Business Club, my favorite clubs on Clubhouse. My name's Jared Albritton, and I'm one of the leaders in the Women in Business Club. Huge supporter of women in tech, women in entrepreneurs, women in business, period. And my role, with Christina is just to bring some of the best content creators to the club that can add value. And Dawnna is absolutely one of the best. So my thing is, I'm not about a bunch of fluff. I like to get straight to it. So I'm going to pass it to our guest of honor, Dawnna, to introduce herself and set the framework for the room and what you can get out of today.
Hey, 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 how are you doing this afternoon, everyone? Hey, Jared, just to make sure that everyone can hear me okay, I'm getting a signal that says I
You
have
sound good.
a poor connection. Okay, all right, good. Because I'm like, I see 5 bars. What is it talking about? Okay, cool. So, my name is Dawnna St Louis, and really who I work with are coaches, consultants, subject matter experts who want to stop being the best kept secret and get more clients. Specifically, they use their knowledge and expertise in order to drive more business. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit today in a very straightforward, direct manner with some live coaching, by the way, which is one of my specialties, one of my favorite things to do. Some live coaching to make sure that you get everything you can out of this. And we're going to go through 6 areas, and we're going to start with your expertise. We're going to actually not start with your expertise probably this time, but I'm going to tell you what they are. We're going to talk about your expertise, your ideal client, your products and services, what you're offering, your market attraction, your and your sales frenzy, create a sales frenzy. So those 6 areas we're going to jump into. Make sure that you have pen and paper, or that you're over in the comment section, because one of the favorite things that I love is that people do a fantastic job about going and typing in the comment section and keeping up with notes for everyone else. And it's really cool. It makes it super collaborative here. Um, the one thing that I do like to say though is my credit is pretty good. I'm kicking a 700 plus credit score, so I don't need a whole lot of co-signers. So if you want to come up and you got questions and stuff and you want to get some help and some coaching, I'm all about it. But if you're coming up to hijack, just know I'm going to call you out. With that said, who the hell am I? So my name is Dawnna St Louis. I am the CEO of Fyrebrand.net. Um, about 6 years ago, I walked out of a relationship with $2,500 in my pocket. And by the end of that year, I had done over $500,000. I had done 4 6-figure quarters. Um, People always say, well, how did you do that? Because quite honestly, within the first 90 days, I had done $90,000. I literally use a very specific framework that works. And then I've taught that framework to others who have consistently reached those numbers. One of the biggest differences between me and a lot of other coaches is, number one, I'm big on methodology, and I know millions is in your methodology. And so one of the first things that I work on with my client is getting their methodology. Then we get their ideal clients. We make sure that their products are priced where it's kind of funny because they price a little higher and they get a few more clients, that we treat our businesses like a private club and not like a public park. And that really I care about the fact that you are doing something that you absolutely positively love, 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 love. Because if you're doing something that you love and you tie that in with your expertise, when things get really, really hard, because you love it, you will consistently push forward through it. A lot of times I see coaches give up when they're only 3 feet from gold. That's not the time to give up. And I know that sometimes we're like, oh, but Dawnna, the struggle is real. The struggle, fine. Struggling means that you haven't failed. You haven't given up. So we just want to make sure that we're staying with moving forward. All right. So that's who I am. That's a little bit about what I'm going to talk about. This room is perfect for you if you are an expert, if you are a coach, if you are one of those people who is sitting here going, Dawnna, I got some clients, but I'm running into this revenue ceiling and I don't know how to shatter it. I have this 6-week program. I don't know how to turn it into 6 figures. I am one of the best kept secrets. I know that I make a game change. I know I change the game for my clients, but I'm not sure exactly how to do it. If that's you, then this room is for you. But if you have like a widget to sell, or you want me to tell you how to turn your book into a bestseller, I'm probably not the person for you, right? I really do work with coaches and experts to change the game. Some of my people put on 6-figure mansion retreats. I mean, that's the type of game that we're talking about. All right. With that said, I'm going to pass it back over to Jared real quick and make sure that I've tidied it up properly, and we can get started.
Yes, yes, yes. So she's about to drop some gems on y'all. So I would love for y'all to share the room. There's a number one down there. So I'll lead by example. I'm going to go and click that. I'm going to drop some gems because that's what she's about to drop. All right, now it's a number two. We'll love to see that number go from 10, 20, 30, 40. Let's get this room as big as possible because she's about to give a lot of value. And I really want to shout out Giuseppe and Jay Massey for supporting the stage and supporting Dawnna in her voice. She's about to really, really drop some stuff. So I really appreciate you both being here. If you're in the audience, make sure you follow Dawnna, make sure you follow Giuseppe, and make sure you follow Jay Massey. Shout out to interest cancellation expert in the audience, Patrice, Sonia, Preston from Afrotech. Amazing people in the room, but I like to get straight to the value. So I'm going to pass it back to Dawnna.
Awesome. So let's start with the first thing, which is your expertise. Listen, I just had a gentleman that jumped on my calendar recently, and he just wanted to talk about, how he could take his business to the next level. He was doing all this work, and he goes, Dawn, I'm just not getting paid enough. When I went and looked at his profile, and I want you right now to go take a look at your profile. When I looked at his profile literally had about 8 commas in it. I mean, and he was an expert in everything, and he had gotten more certifications than he knew what to shake a stick at, and he was on his way to getting even more certifications. I mean, listen, when you are a jack of all trades, ain't nobody paying you for jack. I know y'all saying that's not how the quote goes. Yes, it does. When you are a jack of all trades, ain't nobody paying you for jack. You have got to pick your lane and own it. And one of the hardest things for entrepreneurs to do is choose. I'm not sitting here telling you that it's impossible to do. I do recognize that it's difficult. But don't feel like just because you chose that one area that you can't, that you can't change it or you can't make money in it. You can choose an area, you can make money in it, you can decide like a year later, like, you know what, that really wasn't my jam, and you can change areas, and that's okay. But the one thing you have to do if you don't do anything else is you have to choose. Because if you want more commas in your bank account, you have to take them out of your expertise. You have to choose the thing that you are going to apply all your badassery to, all of it. And yes, y'all, you cannot be the Walmart. You can't be like, well, we sell, sporting goods and we got some shoes over here. And no, what are you selling? Specifically, what do? I work with high value experts, people who are real subject matter experts. And they're like, Dawnna, I want to make a little bit more money. So I show them how to create a high ticket offer so they can run a high profit business. Notice how I didn't say so they could chase high profit gigs. I said so they could run a high profit business. And what's the difference? A high profit business literally means that you are forecasting your future. You are recognizing that there is an opportunity for you to have money in the next 6 months, and you know what that money looks like. When you are chasing gigs, you are literally trying to figure out how much money you're going to make this month. You need to be able to say, Don, in the next 6 months, I know this amount of money is coming in because I have recurring revenue. And you need to be working with a coach who's specifically going to tell you how not to just chase gigs and get the next client, but how to create a business where you have recurring revenue, where you have cash flow. Listen, earned income is fine. Don't get me wrong. That cash injection is great. But a business is really judged on recurring revenue and cash flow. So what does your cash flow look like? It's really hard for you to identify, for you to really lay down your cash flow when you haven't even laid out what your expertise is. So start by knowing what your real area of expertise is. That one area of expertise. Choose it, hold it. And what I love about one of the things that we have in Fyrebrand is we actually have, for our clients that come through, we actually work with them on saying, hey, let's identify what you do best. what your talent, so what your skills are and what your talents are. Because what we want to do is we want to tie your talents, which you're naturally good at, to your skills. We want to bring both of those together, and then we want to tie that to what you love to do. When we put that little holy trinity together, you are now running a business that you love, that you're not going to run away from. So that's what we do to start you off. We want to make sure that you are truly working in your area of expertise. One of the things that I love was yesterday I was working with a lady named Dawn D'Amico Lukowitz. Now, this woman is absolutely brilliant, and she has a background where she's gotten all kind of sports awards and just absolutely brilliant. And on top of that, she does an amazing job doing sales within her own business. But she said, Donna, the one thing I'm struggling with is understanding what my real area of expertise is. Listen, her area of expertise, when we sat down and we did her thing, is she has this thing called the fourth quarter mindset. And so the fourth quarter mindset, if you know anything about sports, you'll hear people say, well, wins aren't won in the first quarter. Tom Brady will come and snatch your soul out of your body in the fourth quarter, right? We've seen basketball players with ice in their veins that throw up nothing except for a bunch of threes in the fourth quarter to win the game. We've seen Michael Jordan back in the day, Kobe Bryant and LeBron James all pull out those fourth quarter wins because they did not win the game in the first quarter. They won it in the fourth quarter. We've seen Tiger Woods hit that last winning shot and just following people for the whole tournament, and then get to those last couple of shots and just taking money out of people's pockets because they recognize that the win happens in the fourth quarter. Well, she talks about, what if you took that fourth quarter mindset to every quarter of the game? How would that change the game for you in sales? She didn't even know that was her jam until we sat down and we started understanding what her real talent was and her real area of expertise. And now what we're doing is we're actually introducing her to sales leaders who want someone like her to come and motivate their team for those first 3 quarters of the year. We're like, how do we get you in front of those people? Because that's who your ideal client is. And how do you coach that leader so that he can motivate his people to have a fourth quarter mindset in the first quarter? She only started working with us 2 weeks ago, and she had no idea what her expertise is. And now she's walking out. We're putting together her entire brand. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, y'all. That's what you're looking for. You need to make sure that you're working with a coach who's going to make sure that they take your talent, your skills, and your expertise and tie that all together. Dawn is so excited right now. In fact, if you go and take a look, I think it's on Fyrebrand.net. If you take a look at Fyrebrand.net, I think we even have a video up of the interview with Dawn. And by the way, you won't even hear her talk about fourth quarter because we only just talked about fourth quarter yesterday, and she is chomping at the bit. But that's what you need a coach to do. You need a coach who gives a damn about what you're bringing to the table, and then make sure that they validate what you do. Not that you're just doing it. Listen, a lot of people can do social media. But if I understand why doing social media and being a social media strategist is important to you, then I can turn you into somebody like Chanel Evans, who started with me in July and had a 6-figure quarter by the time she got to January. But I have to understand your why, your passion, your love, your excitement. Because if you're just doing it to make a dollar, you're not going to make that many dollars. Because if you're chasing the dollar, all you're going to do is catch the weak one. You got to make sure that the dollar is chasing you, because only the strongest dollar will. So that's where you start. Picking your expertise and not being a jack of all trades. If you are stuck, if you're sitting there going, oh my God, Donna, I don't know what my expertise is. I get it. It's hard. That's again why we actually created a whole methodology, a whole formula to help people figure it out. I've gone through that same methodology myself to make sure that I was working in my zone of genius, right? Because I have a PMP, I have a Six Sigma Master Black Belt. I can go and work in a lot of areas. I ran an IT business. I was an executive woman in business. I could do all of those things, but that was not where my passion was. My passion, my expertise, my talents, my skills live right here, working with entrepreneurs who want to shatter their revenue ceiling, working with businesses who want to shatter their revenue ceiling. I like to make sure people have financial freedom from corporate colonization. That's my jam. That's what I do the best. And you need to make sure that you're working in the area that you do the best. And here's the thing, when you do, quite honestly, you kind of get this little attitude where I'll say things like, you need to get out there and just say what you say. You need to feel like you know your stuff so well that you can stand toe to toe with anybody. I can stand toe to toe with anybody on Shark Tank or anybody else because I know my stuff that well. You need to feel so confident in what you do and love it so much that you will fight the devil to make sure that you got your voice heard. That's when you know you're working in your zone of genius. And that's where I always want to get people to. I want to get them to that area of expertise where they're doing what they love with clients who love what they do. So that's where you're going to start. Don't be the jack of all trades. Be the expert in one thing and crush it like nobody's business. So I see we had somebody come up that is, I think, Dillian. Dillian, did you have a question?
All right, Dilly might have been away, so I'm gonna move him back down.
Okay.
If he wants to come back up or add it in the chat, then he can. So keep on going, Donna.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
Hey,
there he is.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Dillian.
sorry, I was listening to you and I was just fixing my bio because I have too many commas in my bio already.
I love that.
Yeah, it took me time to get back to the room actually. Yeah, so my question is uh, I'm one of those people who feels that he could change the game because I've been advising a couple of UNICEF programs which were very good, but they are not very high paying for me. And I
Mhm.
consulted some very good policies across the EU for some parties, but they are once in a year, and it's just too much work for too little time. It's highly unpredictable. My thing is that I want to have more predictability in getting more clients.
Yeah, I was just
So
gonna say, so that's
yeah,
not your
this
ideal
is
client, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what we call icing on the cake clients, right? Icing on the cake clients come along once every now and then. For example, one of the things that I do is I do a lot of international speaking, right? I'm one of those top paid non-celebrity speakers, and sometimes agents book me. But I don't rely on that money because agents might book me, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a year. So that's only going to be $125,000 in my pocket. I don't count on that. That's not even tapping into the seven figures that I want to make. That's like 10%. So when you have clients that aren't, and it's a good segue for you, Dillian. First of all, shout out for you. And then somebody put Yashi's World Tarot that said I had to go and fix the commas in my expertise. I love that. Yes, y'all, this is how we work. I'm going to give you advice and I'm literally going to tell you to go and change something immediately because it's going to have a huge impact. Dillian, one of the things that I would tell you, which sends us right over into our next thing, is identifying your ideal client. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is specifically, I heard you say that you did policies, you changed policies that had an impact. Did that impact efficiency, productivity, or money? Or something else? What did those policies impact?
I think productivity.
Okay, so productivity went up. So when productivity went up, did something else get impacted? Did they save money? Did they save time? What else happened?
They saved money and time, and because they are concerning the social sector and how it can be more empowering than more
Yep.
giving, if this makes sense.
Yep.
It ended up creating jobs and opportunities and
Hmm.
making money for all parties involved.
Okay, what other organizations, and I have a couple in mind, but what other organizations that may not necessarily be not-for-profit organizations, or what with or even organizations with departments within organizations who could use that same thing? Give me some examples of organizations that could use that same type of thing, where they're creating jobs, where they're creating opportunities, or where they're so efficient where they don't need maybe as much staff as they have right now.
I'm thinking of those phone helping companies. I don't know
Yep.
how to call them properly
Call
in English,
centers.
but yeah,
Call.
call centers.
Yep.
So I'm thinking about them and other companies like this, or services like this are the media companies
Mm-hmm.
who have like immense, because previously I worked in a TV. They
Yep.
have immense amount of people who work like for 4 hours, but they are just drinking coffees and stuff.
Right.
So maybe
Yep, yep.
those two things. So the media in terms of traditional media, and then the call centers.
So what you're talking about is getting higher levels of productivity and creating high performance players within organizations. Is
Yeah,
that what you're talking about,
yeah.
Dylan? Okay, so your ideal client can definitely be. I would be tapping into anyone who has a. I would. Well, I shouldn't say anyone because I don't mean that. I would be looking for organizations that are large organizations that already. By the way, here's the question for you, and this is for everyone because people get this wrong. So just hear me out. I want you to imagine that the organization is already a winner. They have amazing customer service, right? They have amazing customer service. They're already doing a great job. That number one is going to be your ideal client. So, what organizations are out there that have amazing customer service, are already doing a great job? And then the question is, how can you help them do better? See, most people make the mistake of going, I'm going to go to an organization that's broken. Don't do that. An organization that's broken has already proven to you that they're not willing to make an investment into solving the problem. That's why they're broken. Organizations that are doing great, that are number one, number two, number three on the list of people who are badass within what you're doing, those, you know why they're up there? Because they're investing money into making sure that's better. My best clients are crushing it from a sales goal on a regular basis. And they're like, yeah, I want you to tell me how to do better, because they're already doing it. They're constantly looking for better. So for you, what I would challenge you to do is I would challenge you, actually don't go after these not-for-profit organizations. That's nice. That's your proof of concept. That's a great way to say, look, I did it. I proved it. I got some experience at it. Now go after these organizations, and whatever amount that you think you should charge, I double dog dare you to charge them double, because you got to come in showing that you're a badass. And those are the organizations I would go after. Organizations that are already crushing it in customer service. Identify what you can help them do better that they're already doing, but what can you help them do better? What's your new perspective on it? And those are the organizations I would go after. And generally, you're looking for the vice president of sales or the vice president of customer service. Did that help you?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to follow you in your social medias because uh, I so needed those words. Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. You're so very welcome. And also, if you all are interested, check out Fyrebrand. It's spelled FYREBRAND.net. Jarrett put it up above for me. Check out the boot camp. The boot camp is coming up April 28th, 29th, and 30th. It is going to be in Orlando. Just check that out. And we're even talking about how we can do a replay and that type of thing after for people who can't make it there. But check that out. It's April 28th, 29th, and 30th. It is hands on. It is not one of those where you're going to come in and people are going to be walking across the stage and they're going to be pitching at you all day. I'm going to tell you something about me. I don't have to pitch. You know why I don't have to pitch? Because most people already know me. The most that they don't know is they don't know when is the event, what is it, and what is it about. So I'm going to tell you. Day one is all about marketing, market audacity. Market audacity is where you go in and actually get leads. So we're going to show you on day one how to get the type of leads that you're looking for by having some market audacity and not just doing marketing. Marketing is a nice way of saying, look at me. Market audacity is saying, yeah, I see all y'all looking, but I want you guys to call me. Then we go on to number two. Day two is now that you've done that market audacity and you have these people interested, you have these leads. Now we want to show you how to turn those leads into real client engagement. How do you engage in such a way where people actually want to have a conversation with you and get to the next level, right? Then we talk about last day, what you're going to do. And mind you, we're not just talking and teaching, you're going to do these things. On the last day, you're going to, it's sales frenzy. We're actually going to have you do sales calls, practice sales calls, rehearse sales calls, and do sales calls. Because what do we want you to do? We actually want you to walk out making money from the event. That's our big, hairy, audacious goal. And we don't put 1,000 people in the room. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're about. We're very exclusive. We put about 20 to 25 people in the room. That's really it. So you are getting focused attention for 3 days, and it is a boot camp. So it's not 3 short days. It is 3 hand cramping, get your work done days. It is a boot camp. And we don't spend 3 days pitching. We spend 3 days of you working. So you're actually doing the work to make the money. That's the goal. The price for the boot camp is $2,500. And if you're going, but I don't know if I'm ready, then get the VIP package, which is an additional $2,500, and that is 1 month of coaching with me. So you'll get a month of coaching with me, and then we'll slide right into the boot camp. All right, so that was number 1 and 2, and we're going to talk about ideal client, but right now I'm going to answer Yashi. Hey, Yashi.
Peace and light. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing the very best I can.
Awesome.
My question for you is, well, as you can see, I'm the person who said I had to go and change because I had too many
I
comments.
saw that.
Um, I am a professional tarot reader, and by that I mean I am the best at what I do.
Yes.
I just am very good at it. Um, And being a tarot reader, one, I'm a Black woman in this field of, you know, holistic living. And when you think of tarot and things like that, first person comes to mind most of the time is like Miss Cleo, which we know is kind of
Right.
shit. So my thing is, being that this is what I am good at, this is my expertise. How
Yes.
do I, what is my um ideal, my avatar. I have a
Mm-hmm.
problem, number one, finding my avatar. And number two, being that I am a tarot reader, um, the sales part, all of those things, they're still a little foreign to me. I'm not
Got
sure
you.
how to approach those things. So, and of course, I know you can only answer so much, but those are two major things that I deal with.
So let's start with the first
So
thing.
let's start with
First thing is that we want to get to the point where we're very clear on our expertise in regards to tarot reading, right? So there are tarot readers, some tarot readers that specialize. They will only work in the areas of love. They will only work in the area of career. Um, there are tarot readers, quite honestly, for people who are in politics or in those really high areas of even business, that they only want to talk to them about what do they think their next best step should be based on tarot. So I would challenge you to do this one thing that's probably going to be the hardest, which is niche down a little bit. That will help you identify your ideal client. So say I'm going to be a tarot reader that's specifically focused on relationships, or I'm going to be a tarot reader that specifically focuses on business and business decisions. That's going to be the very first, or I'm going to be a tarot reader that specifically focuses on what you should be doing next. But whatever that is, first thing I would tell you to do is niche down, because now you're going to get clients who are coming to you because they know that you only work in this one area, and you're going to get more people because they want someone who works in that one area. So there's your number one. Once you get that number one out of the way, that's going to help you with your number two, which is your ideal client. Your ideal client is going to be people who are believers, who are coming to you on a regular basis. And specifically, they're coming to you on a regular basis because they want your expertise in regards to a very specific subject that you've defined. Here's your number three in regards to your product. So I would say before you get all the way over into sales, I would say get into product. You could sell a one off tarot reading, right? That's okay. But a one off tarot reading really isn't the package you should be selling. You should be selling a 6 month package or a year package, right? You get tarot readings every twice a month for a year. That's the package that you should be trying to sell, or twice a month for 6 months. Because if you're really going after your ideal client who is a believer, if they're a real believer, then they're not looking. Listen, if they're a real believer, they ain't going to church just on Christmas and Easter. If they're a real believer, they're showing up every Sunday, right? Or every other Sunday. My point is, if they're a real believer, they're not just getting their tarot read that one time. That's something you do at a fair. If they're a real believer, then they're showing up every 2 weeks, and you should be selling packages to your ideal client who are real believers, and you need to price appropriately. Hey, if you're giving me real advice that I can use to help me get to my next level based on tarot, then we're talking about, we're talking about some coinage, right? I don't know how much a tarot reading normally costs for just one, but I would say if it's normally, I don't know, $125, I'd be like, okay, it's $300 a month. You want the 6 month package, that's $1,800. I would be somewhere around there to start. Does that help you?
You just blew my mind. I love it. You actually helped me. No, I'm so serious. And I look for coaches, um, when coaches, gurus,
Mm-hmm.
many teachers, and that's all been holistic. But looking for mentorship and all of those things. This has been the best advice that I've gotten in a long time in regards to my business, because you actually just helped me narrow down my niche, literally,
Mm-hmm.
which
Good.
is what you should do next, period.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank you.
You're
Thank you
so
so
very welcome. And just to let, and this might actually connect with you a little bit. So, and most people don't know this about me, and I rarely share this, not because of shame or anything. Like, I'm very proud of it. Um, 90% of everything that I do, everything that's associated with my business is actually steeped in a spiritual realm. Everything, all of it. And so I tell people all the time, I'm just the tool that the universe uses. That's all I
much.
am. The rest of y'all need to make sure you're paying attention, because sometimes the answer will come and I can see it. It's flashing in front of me. And then you'll say it again. And I'm like, there's no rewind on this DVR. That's what came up. You got to grab it when it comes up. And I'm sure you understand that better than a lot of people do.
Yes, I do. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm just so thankful that you did that, because you were really a tool just a second ago, because you hit
Yep.
right on the head twice. So
Cool.
you helped me. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Go crush it, because that's, I can see for you. I see those packages, like you putting together packages. Don't do what everybody else is doing, which is that one-off tarot reading. That's what you do at the fair. You know what I mean? Do this when you talking about real believers. Real believers show up regularly. They're looking for this every 2 weeks. They're looking for this. You know what I mean? They're looking for a regularly scheduled advice. As if they would go to tarot is just a different form of coaching. So I would challenge you to run it like a coaching business.
You are You'll be seeing me. You'll be
Awesome.
finding me. I'm coming somewhere.
Yeah, check out that link at the top. You should see her in
Yes,
Orlando. Yeah.
yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. Good. I'm glad that really helped you. I got my boy, Mr. Rudy LaRose. Go ahead, Rudy. Oh, he came up and then he disappeared. What happened, Ru?
Rudy LaRose in the building.
There he is.
How are you, Miss Donna?
I'm great, babe. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazingly well. So, question for you: in this world, this post virtual, all things virtual, you got to be on virtual, blah blah blah. How do you see, if any, has marketing changed for those of us who are wanting to do a lot of virtual stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Um, or for those of us wanting to get back into the game of just being face to face, how has things changed? And And on the virtual end, um, how can we monetize on that? And then on the physical end, there's always the danger of, well, will they show up? You know,
Right.
the whole vaccine thing. I had to go through that, as you know.
Yep.
How do you see that changing right now?
Absolutely. Well, here's the one thing, and I love that question. Here's the one thing for sure from a marketing perspective. If you weren't on social before COVID, um, and then you suddenly realize that you really didn't have a choice but to be there. But then what happened was we had a lot of people show up, and suddenly a lot of people were doing the same things that were a lot of people were doing. So you couldn't just show up and do what was already working because nobody was going to pay attention to you. Let me give you a perfect example of that. One of the things that people had, one of the things that I had was I had a full on set in my house where I would do recordings, and it basically looked like the Oprah set. And you might be going, yeah, Dawnna, everybody has that. Everybody has that now. But everybody didn't have that before COVID. A lot of people were just at their camera, right? I actually put together a full on set. If the camera could follow me, I could zoom in and zoom out. I had all this stuff. Then COVID happened, and now everybody had a set at home, which meant that I needed to get out of the weeds and not have a set. I needed to have something else. So what did I do? I went and created a full light board studio in order to engage with my clients completely differently, which when people would see it, and if you go to my LinkedIn profile is just my first name. If you go to my LinkedIn profile and just look at one of my videos, you'll actually see where I'm in this black background and I'm writing on this board. And people are like, how is that happening? How does she do that? Right? Because I couldn't just keep showing up the way everyone else was showing up. So, how have things changed? The way things have changed right now is if you're doing what you always did in social media, then you're not doing anything. If you marketed the way you always marketed, you're not making any money. You actually have to market at a higher level. So you have to be more direct, more impactful. You have to really be an expert because now people are way more critical of experts. You have to niche down tighter than you ever niche down before, to the point where you're almost scared to niche, right? And you actually have to raise your rates so people will know that you're not just like everybody else. So if you're playing the law of averages and you're doing what everybody averagely does, right? If you're doing what the average person does, then you're actually not going to make any money. So you had to do something different. If you're going to do things
Really
face to
good.
face, then do things face to face and own that you're doing them face to face. And don't just do what everyone else is doing. One of the things that I complain about, and Rudy knows this, I complain about people showing up and having speakers just come across the stage all day long in this 900-hour pitch fest, and it freaking sucks. And people aren't really learning or doing anything. They're walking away and they haven't done a damn thing except for got inundated with content, just waterboarded for 3 days. Rudy, you know me. You know I hate that. Or they're like, oh, I'm going to do something in a hotel. I don't do my stuff in hotels. I do my things in mansions, right? So you have to show up and do things the way everyone else isn't doing them. Because if you're doing what the 98% are doing, you're going to get what the 98% gets, which is damn near nothing. So
That's
you
good.
really do have to be different.
And I know you talk a lot about too, and you can expound on that too. A lot of times we're trying to see how we can fit everybody into the club. But you're
Right.
saying no.
Don't
See,
do that.
see who does it. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Treat your business like a private club, not like a public park. Stop letting these strangers come in and piss on your tree because they got the money for admission. We do not let everybody show up to our things. We really don't. When I say I do them in mansions, that means that I'm trusting every person that walks in that door. In order for me to trust every person that walks in that door, I need to know them. So you can't just go to my website, click buy and work with Dawnna. You can't do that. You actually have to have a conversation with me first. I want to make sure that you qualify to be in the room. And I want to make sure in that qualification that I can actually help you. Because if I can't get you your return on investment, then I'm not interested in working with you. I'm not your coach. I'm not everybody's coach. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And I recognize that. I also recognize that I have something that's very exclusive and very different. So I work with very exclusive clients. And the reason I do that is because I deliver in a way The other people don't deliver. I don't have this where you can only get on my Friday at 1 o'clock on Friday, on my calendar, 1 o'clock at Friday. No, I have an open calendar, which means that if you're a client, you can get on it. You can get on it twice a week if you want to. Some people get on it 3 times a week. You did your homework, pop on my calendar, right? Some people get on it once a month and then they get on it 8 times the next month. it it's a open. So I coach a little differently. I do things a little differently. So I select my clients a little differently. They don't pick me, I pick them. But they have to take the first action, because quite honestly, if you don't have the testicular fortitude or the ovarian audacity to go to Fyrebrand.net and get on my calendar, then nothing else is going to start. Nothing else is going to happen. You have to take that first action. If I got to chase you down, it's not going to happen, because I'm not doing that. All right. I hope that answered your question, Rudy. I'm going to jump over to
Thank you so
Ahmed.
much. Yes, that was awesome.
You're
Thank you.
welcome, love. I'm going to jump over to Ahmed. Ahmed, how are you doing today?
Hey, good morning from the West Coast. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Am I saying your name right?
Yeah, it is correct. Thank
Okay,
you.
cool.
So, I've been around these clubhouse streets quite a lot, and I share a lot of information. And now I am looking to take a particular skill set that I have and start using it, as an additional form of income, which is real estate development. A
Okay.
lot of people out there have a lot of real estate fake guru and fake,
Oh my God.
this, that. Yeah, someone remodeled a bathroom and now they're a development expert and stuff like that.
You
So,
know what I'm saying? Look, I
oh
painted
yeah,
a wall one time.
yeah. well, you're a lot further along than most of these people then, because they wouldn't know the difference between the hammer and the nail, and they still want to be a real estate expert. So,
A hammer is nothing but a good church shoe and a nail.
hammer's whatever's in within arm's reach is what it is.
Right? Right?
Yeah, exactly. So I've been definitely doing my research and putting together some course outlines and stuff like that, and it's pretty intensive. Like it's like I got a 4-page outline already, and it's I'm not even done with it. So it's gonna be a very
Yeah.
long, intensive course. But and I started speaking last year on stages here and there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be speaking again in about a week. And the gentleman who's hosting the event told me you should put together like a mini course, because if you're
Yep.
putting your normal course together, put together a mini course and see what sort of response you get and offer it to the people. I'm like, okay, I could do that. So I'm offering like a little 6-week crash course. Like it's not super in depth, but it really gives you a really good understanding of the business. But I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I'm going to market it to the group that I'm speaking to, which is about 100 real estate professionals. Then I would, if I get 5, 10, 15 people, that's enough, I would think. But I'm trying to understand, maybe initial pricing, how many
Yep.
people I should bring into an initial mini course, which would be like
Yep.
uh, once a week for 6 weeks via
Yep.
Zoom, stuff like that. I mean, any
Yep.
thoughts about testing the waters on this?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, this is one of the things that I coach my people to do. Or a lot of times I get people already and they have a 6-week course, and then we show them how to turn that 6-week course into a 6-figure mansion retreat. So here's the first thing I would tell you to do. Yeah, when you have, let me back up. So my methodology is 4 phases, right? It's focus, which is your expertise, your ideal client, and your product, which includes your pricing and all that other stuff. Then we have finance, which is where you make your money, right? That's going to be your marketing, your client, your market audacity, your client engagement, and your sales frenzy. Then the 4th phase is function. This is how you deliver, right? This is your processes, your technology, and your people. And then the last one is future. This is how you're going to grow your business. This is all about your goals, what you're hitting, your vision, and your mission. So those are the 4 phases. The phases that I work heaviest in are in the focus and finance phases, because I'm not really interested in going and setting up people's systems. Like, I could do it. I'm a 6 Sigma master black belt, but that's just not what I love. Right. And that's the difference between a skill, having a skill and having a talent and experience that you actually love. And so for me, what I did was I looked at those first 2 phases, focus and finance. And I said, of these first 2 phases, what is the one area that my ideal client recognizes? Big word for you. Listen to me what I'm saying. They recognize that they're struggling in. If I go from expertise, ideal client, product, marketing, client engagement, and sales, my ideal client recognizes that their area that they struggle the most in is always marketing. 90% of the time, they're like marketing. And then from marketing, they go to sales. They rarely recognize that their challenge really starts over in the focus area. So, with that said, I would first challenge you to make sure that your mini course taps on the most salient points first that your ideal client recognizes that they have a problem in. Does that make sense?
I do. And
Okay.
it seems like a lot of them saying, hey, we have real estate experience. We know where to start. And
Right.
to
Okay.
me, that's all about understanding a market and a need.
Okay. So that's exactly okay. So the first thing you're gonna, how do you get started? So you want to take it from how do you get started and how do you make your first whatever, whatever, whatever. That's where you're gonna go. With that said, what I want you to do, this is how you're gonna price yourself. You ready? I'm gonna tell you the secret to pricing yourself. I want you to identify, and people say this all the time, I don't have any competitors. Yeah, you do. So let's stop playing. Everybody, I have competitors. Everybody has competitors, right? We have our own methodology, which makes what we do unique. But the reason we have competitors is because our ideal client only recognizes the problem. And so when they're only recognizing the problem, they're searching for people who can solve that problem. And a lot of people can solve that problem in different ways. We all have our own way of solving it. So now that you recognize that you have competitors, I want you to go and look and see who's doing, if your ideal client was searching on Google, let's say 10 people classes would come up that were like 6-week classes. I want you to identify what is the average they're charging. So let's say the average they're charging is $2,500. I'm literally making up a number. I don't know the number, so I'm making up a number. So I want you to imagine that the average is $2,500. How much do you think I want you to charge, Ahmed?
The Arab in me tells me to charge less, but the businessman in me tells me to charge more because more, if it costs more, it implies value.
Yes. So I want you to kill the Arab and I want you to charge more.
Right?
Yes, because a $1,500 pair of red bottom shoes are better than a pair of Michael Kors shoes. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter whether it's true or not. It doesn't matter, right?
Yes, that's true.
So, right. So I want you to charge more. So if the average is 2,500, I want you to charge 3,500.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? And
Yes.
with that 3,500, I then want you to add some one little extra thing that you know if they walk away with this, they're going to be like, holy crap. Like one of the things that we do in our boot camps in our that we literally just started talking about was giving people actual leads that they can walk away with that are specifically their ideal client in their niche. Right? That's
Okay.
one of the big things that we do. And people are like, you actually give us leads? I'm like, yeah, opted in, first name, last name, email address, phone number, leads. You get 500 of them you can walk away with. If you can't make money from that, bro, I can't really help you because I've literally, you know what I mean? And so
Yes.
just that one little thing that your ideal client is going, well, that right there makes it worth it. Do you see what I
Yes.
mean?
So I can offer them, hey, you know what? I will help. When you come up with an opportunity, I will help you underwrite it. Just bring it to me, and we'll go through it step by
And limit
step.
that though. Like
Yeah.
limit that. Like you can't underwrite the whole thing because obviously that's going to be too much. So maybe
Yeah.
you, and I don't, and I hate to do like 4 hours of underwriting. I hate that crap. But I would
Yeah.
say I'd help you, I'd guide you. I'd give you 3 sessions of guiding you through the underwriting process. And each session is X amount of time.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? Or and I'm
Yeah.
just again, I'm just coming up with a number. I don't have an actual because I'm not in your industry, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yes. Correct. 100%.
Cool.
100%. So,
Is
so
that
it's
helpful?
yeah, it does. I was going to charge like maybe if I can get 5 or 10 people in this thing, I was going to charge them like $1,200 because really there is no mini course. But maybe if I charge a little bit more, then
I would charge
throw in
more
that
than that
extra.
because I'm gonna tell you right now, as somebody
Yeah.
who would do real estate investment, if you told me it was $1,200, I'd be like, If you told me it was $2,500, I'd be like, maybe okay.
Okay. So
And you
definitely
got to
charge
know,
more.
who is your ideal client, man? Do they have the money for this? Because if they're talking about doing real estate investment, they know it's going to cost more than $5.
Yeah, no, it's the ideal client is real estate professionals who are, who have a proven successful track record, and
Yeah.
then contractors who want to take their business from building for someone else to building for themselves.
And how much are they making a year?
Both these clients are making six figures. Yeah.
Yeah, 2,500 ain't shit for them.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes, you're not trying to be the low price leader. That's not your
Uh,
jam. That's
well,
remember, private club. Private clubs are more
yes.
expensive than public parks. So I want
Yes.
you to
I love
price your
that.
business like a private club.
Okay. We're at public park. Yeah, I love this. Okay. Well, I'm going to sign up for your boot camp. So
Cool. I can't wait to see you.
yeah, that'd be great. Well, thank you. I appreciate this, and we'll be talking more.
Awesome. Awesome. So good to have you there. Hey, Trudy.
Hey, Dawnna.
How
Wow.
you
Okay.
doing?
Oh, girl. You are blowing my mind. This is the best room I have ever been in. I just got
Oh
to
my
tell you.
God. Thank you. That means so much.
It is just so good. I cannot write fast enough. This is so good. So, thank you for allowing me up here. I do have a question. You've already shined so much light for me, but I'm really seeing some clarity about my business. So, first of all, I'm a love coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I help women break toxic cycles and find forever love. And I'm making these notes so I can be really succinct with you. But what I'm realizing listening is I'm marketing to many, I'm marketing to broken. My
Mm,
message is not clear enough.
mm,
It's kind of like I feel like I'm throwing mud at a wall, and it's like, ooh, what works?
mm.
But I do it every month differently. And so all these things are coming up for me like, holy cow, I thought I was so clear and I'm not.
I got you. First, I will tell you the first thing that you said. I hate to jump in, but I just got to tell you the first thing that you said that jumped out at me was, I'm marketing to broken.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. And so, what I want you to ask yourself is this: what does your ideal client want? Like, what do they really, really want? And I don't want you to talk about what they're frustrated with, what they don't have, what they're missing. I know it's kind of hard to say what they're missing, what they want, but I want you to imagine they're already happy, they're already healthy, they're already out doing things, right? But they want this one other thing. What is it that they want?
Well, they want to find their forever person. They want love. And
Okay. And do they feel like they deserve it?
no,
Ah, that's not your ideal client.
yeah,
That's not your ideal client, because guess what? If I don't think I deserve a pair of red bottoms, I'm never going to go and try to get it. If I don't think I deserve to wear that nice dress, I'm never going to go try to get it. But if I do really think that I deserve it, even if I have some roadblocks, some mental roadblocks, then I'm going to chase after it.
wow, right. And so this makes me think, holy crap, okay. This is kind of is like a whole redefinition of like my entire business because, when I look at, you were talking about my talents and my skills and then my passion.
Yep.
Well, my talents, I would say, is communication and really connecting with people. My
Hmm.
skills have been on really helping people identify the broken, the stories, the
Which is
beliefs that
good.
hold them back.
Which is good. Yes.
Um, okay. So what I'm hearing though is they're already like ahead of that. So I'm thinking, okay, so why do they need me? Right? That's what
Oh,
comes
oh,
up.
because here's the thing. So I'll use me. Okay. I'll use me.
Okay. Okay.
I am a total badass. I absolutely love what I do. I absolutely love working with my clients. I have these amazing skills. I have a coach. Like, I have a coach, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have just one coach. I have two coaches. I have a mindset coach and I have a business coach. But if I have everything together, then why do I have a coach? Because winners recognize that the best thing that they can have is a coach. Tiger Woods has a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. LeBron James has a coach. Kobe Bryant had a coach. Tom Brady had a coach, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You think
Well,
about it.
I mean,
Before Tom Brady won like 850 Super Bowl rings, right? He had a coach that helped him get there. So people who are winners recognize there's something that they don't have that's getting them to the next win. They recognize they deserve it and they ain't got it, but they want it and they need a coach to help them get it.
hmm oh, this is so good. I just, yeah, I'm jotting down. I'm like, love, maybe I'm a love mindset coach, like soulmate to a whole new level instead of marketing to broken, marketing to
Yeah,
better.
girl, it's not about marketing broken. It's literally going, listen, you deserve the love of your life. You know you bring a lot to the table. So let's go find them. Let's go get them. And let's make sure that we're bringing the best you to that table.
Oh, I
Let's
love
show you
this.
how you can stop being a superwoman and just be a woman when you find the love of your life.
Oh, this is so good. This is beautiful.
So does that help you? I think you're right. Your marketing, you're probably doing everything right, except you're going, oh, and they don't think they deserve love. If I don't think I deserve it, I ain't gonna go get it.
Right? They're not going to invest to try and get
No,
it.
hell no. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna invest in something I don't deserve.
right. Exactly.
In
This is
fact, I'm gonna
so
give it
good.
back.
Yeah, so much clarity, so helpful. Thank you so much.
Awesome, 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 awesome. I'm so glad. So I brought my girl up to the stage, Chanel. What's up, Chanel?
What's
Wait.
up? What's up? I had to and pop in, and this best kept secret was how you and I met. So of course I had to pop in this room and show you some love.
Don't worry, I already talked about you. So y'all, let me just go ahead and do this quick introduction. So I was talking about you, Chanel, earlier. I said, y'all want to be like Chanel. I said when I met Chanel, Chanel was like, hey, I feel like the best kept secret, and I'm doing this 6-week class. How would I turn it to 6 figures? And then she just did her mansion retreat in January, and we started really working together on mansion retreat program in July. And Chanel has been like crazy, amazingly successful. And I'll tell you how badass Chanel is. She doesn't know this. Chanel, I'm about to tell something about you that you don't know. So Chanel has
Okay.
become Chanel. She doesn't know. You don't know this. You really don't know this. I know you don't know this. So y'all, if I go and put a post, so we have this little secret that we're actually gonna teach the secret at the boot camp. We ain't teaching it here, but we have this little secret to get our post views from like 100 views to like thousands of views, right? What Chanel doesn't know is when Chanel goes and puts in the comment, when she types in a comment, views automatically go up by about 200 views, 200 to 300 views every time you comment.
As the I no, I did not know this.
I know you didn't. That's why the hell you think I tagged your ass? I'm like, tag Chanel. I need 200 more views.
Hilarious. Now you about to have everybody tagging me in their LinkedIn.
Hell yeah, because what Chanel has done, what Chanel does, y'all, is she helps you do 6 months worth of social media domination in 6 days or less at her social media domination mansion retreat. Her program is completely badass. It's about a 6-week program, and it includes like your pictures, your videos. It's the whole thing. Like picture day is the bomb. And Chanel is so strong on social media that she doesn't even know that she's become somewhat of an influencer, and that when she puts a comment, people's views go up. Me and Michael tested it the other day. You put a comment and his views
Um,
went up like 200 views. That's why we kept tagging you. We're like, let's see if it happens again.
that's But I will say this for people that are in the room that in from a social media standpoint, a lot of times we get caught up thinking, and I want to relate this back to Dawnna, what you said about the public part versus the private club, right? A
Yep.
lot of times I think having more is better. And sometimes more is more, right? More dollars in your bank account is
Right.
better. But sometimes more followers doesn't necessarily mean more clients. And you want to build influence in that small park, in that private club, not just
Yes.
having numbers for numbers sake, but actually building up influence. So I did.
Yes.
I related that. I didn't recognize that I was boosting your post up, but it does relate to building influence, even if you don't have a large audience.
Right, right. And that's why I said, I'm like, she doesn't even know. I couldn't wait for us to get on our call so I can tell you. So you have done such a fantastic job of building the influence that when you comment, the numbers go up about 200 views when you comment
Love
because
it.
you built influence. So I just wanted to point that out to your
Love
badassery.
appreciate that.
I I have a good question
Ahmed is like,
for you.
go ahead.
Okay, so this is great. So you ladies just said less is more sometimes, right? So we're like, okay, we
Yes.
don't need a big mob. You need this core group of people who are really into the product of the course. Well, if you're offering a course for a small group of people,
Yep.
what's too small that you say, okay, we didn't get enough registrants, we got to run it again, or we got to, or is there a minimum amount of people we should think about? And if we don't get that number, we should, uh,
Well, let me
you,
let me and Chanel help you a little bit. So we both do. So I teach people who are experts like you how to do these high profit mansion retreats. And Chanel is one of those people that she's one of, I've coached her, and so now she does these high profit mansion retreats, right? And they're really amazing. And these mansion retreats are highly educational, but they're also high doing mansion retreats. So people walk away doing things like we do in a boot camp, but on steroids. We only allow 10 or 12 people at a mansion retreat. So when you start talking about numbers, we're like, the mansion retreat I do is 15,000, right? It's a 6 week program. Well, actually, it's an 8 week program that leads into a 6 day mansion retreat. But it is a game changer for your business. It's how Chanel went from, oh, I'm doing this 6 week program to now, no, I'm doing 6 figure mansion retreats, was through that same program. So I'm big on people getting their ROI. And so the number, really, the number that you're talking about is truly based on the amount of money that you want to make and the return on investment. The thing you really have to look at is what you're doing in regards to doing that 6 week program. That isn't your core program. That is just a paid lead magnet. And so you could do that lead magnet over and over again. And I would actually challenge you to take it down from 6 weeks to something a little shorter, but it is a paid lead magnet. Does that make sense?
yeah, for sure. So then even 6 weeks, you said even down to 4 weeks or something like that, then.
Yeah, I would take it down to 3 or 4 weeks. I would, if you could get away with, and it's so it really comes down to the amount of homework that they have to do on a regular basis. If they can get their
Yeah.
homework done in 3 days, right? And you could do, instead of saying 6 weeks, say it's 6 classes over the next 3 weeks. And then you go, okay, we got 6 classes over the next 3 weeks. And then you put a price point to that. Then you could literally run this once every, then you can run it once every 6 weeks or so, or whatever you want to run it. So you're not burning yourself out.
Right.
And now what you're doing is you're creating a paid lead magnet that leads these clients into a bigger program.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Does
And
that make
and
sense?
yeah, and just for the optics of it, what about a minimum amount of people in this, 4 to
I would,
6 week class?
10, 10, 10,
10?
12.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I'm really big. Well, I'll tell you why. I'm really big, and Chanel's been, I think, in almost all my programs, and she knows this about me. I'm really big on pouring into every person that walks in. So I don't necessarily want there to be 8,000 people in there, right? Like even in this room, we have 53 people in here. And I'm like, how do I talk to every person of these 53 people? How do I help every person that's here? Not just the people who are coming up. Like, what do I need to say to get everybody to raise their hand? Right? So if you're in that same kind of mindset, like if you were coming under me, quite honestly, as a coach, I'd be like, how do you make sure that that person sitting in the back corner all the way by the door, by the exit door, how do you make sure that he got just as much of an investment as the woman sitting in the first row? Do you see what
So
I'm saying?
so yeah, so the less people that you have, the more personal you make it, and the more personal you make it between the two of you, the more feedback, the more
Yeah, and the more
people.
they're going to tell people,
Yeah,
listen, Fire Fam, listen, Chanel's a Fyrebrand family member, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Fire Fam only really they look at like, wait, are you a Fire Fam family member? You're not, okay, then I don't know, I got to check you out a little more. But if somebody's already a Fyrebrand family member, then Chanel is more likely to work with them, for example. Or if I have somebody and I'm like, oh, you need social media, oh, you got to go to Chanel. I'm not even referring anyone else. I'm only going to refer her. So having that private club and creating that exclusivity and really vetting your clients and making sure that your clients are badass, and then ensuring, because then that kind of creates this network of people who are just badasses. Like if somebody comes in our program and they don't do their 6-figure quarter, you start looking at them with sketchy eye. Well, what you ain't doing? Are you not doing your homework? Like what's happening? Do you see what I mean?
yeah, understood. And it's about the tribe, the crew, even the testimonials after the fact that will help even grow and drive more people to your
Absolutely.
business.
Yeah, think about growing it. Think about growing it better and not necessarily just bigger.
So
Because you can make more money off better than you can off bigger.
yeah, private club versus the public park.
Yes.
Oh God, I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you. That's
No worries. No worries at all. So I'm gonna jump over to, we talked a little bit about pricing already, and we did that with Ahmed, where I said if you really want to get your right client, make sure that you raise your rates. Right? A lot of people are sitting here and they're not believing. And if you're saying like, ooh, I can't raise my rates. Ooh, Chanel, actually I use this example with you because I thought this was helpful. One of the things that I tell people to do is raise their rates so you can get more of your client. But there was this part in this class, and Chanel, I think you're the person who did this, where I said, if you're unsure on whether you should raise your rates or not, I want you to sit down and I want you to do a list of everything that you do for a client in a single month. And then I want you to go and put a dollar amount next to all those things that you're doing for that client in a single month. And then I want you to figure out how much you should really be charging. Chanel, did you do that? Were you the person who did that and said, and you immediately went and like fired people and raised your rates?
Yeah, it was in the 6 week mastermind, and I think it was like week 2, week 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's exercise like Donna mentioned where we take a look at each of our services, and it was a messaging master class that I was in, learning how to really craft the messaging so you can stop being the best kept secret and getting
Mm-hmm.
more. And we went through this exercise where I think it was one of like my lower ticket offers, maybe like a strategy session. And I literally wrote down everything that I do for a client, and I was like, you know what? This is a lot of value that I'm giving at this price point. And I immediately that next day raised the rates. And Donna had gone through this exercise. Okay, what are you going to add? What do you need to do to double your rate? And I was like, absolutely nothing. Like they've already got the value that reflects this double rate. So yes, taking a look at that was an eye opener for me. Um, from the messaging standpoint, but also from a value standpoint for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you were doing a lot. And I was like, woof. Okay, yeah, we need to go ahead and double that. You were doing a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and I think that happens though. I think what happens a lot of times is that we'll sit here and we'll just keep thinking that we have to give. I'm gonna tell you right now, 90% of the people over here are probably over giving. You're giving way too much. And what happens is this. Listen, if you go to McDonald's and McDonald's is selling a steak for $1, how good do you think that steak is? I mean,
Or how about go pick up one at the dollar store because Dollar Tree sells.
right, right. But don't you start asking yourself questions like, I wonder how bad my stomach gonna be jammed up this afternoon after I eat this steak, because you already know, right? But when you go and they say, hey, we got Wagyu and this Wagyu is like $150, and you're like, that's got to be the best steak like that's going to change my life. Clearly, it's probably going to change my religion. I'm probably going to lose 10 pounds from eating this Wagyu if it's $150. Really? You tend to think that things that cost a little more are better. And you tend to think that things that cost a little less are not. And then when something is priced too low, you really start asking yourself, well, what's wrong with it? You don't want your clients to start asking you, well, what's wrong with it? Because this is what they think. They think, number one, either you don't know what you're doing, You damn sure don't know business, or there's something that's not quite, your advice isn't really worth what you say it's worth, because if it was, you'd be charging for it. So you really got to make sure that you're charging appropriately. And I know money is one of the things that people get afraid of, and what they do is they charge low because they feel like they can't get their clients. The truth is, if you charge a little more, you're going to get more of your right client, as long as you're offering that value. All right, let's talk about being the best kept secret. And Chanel, I'm glad you're up here because you're going to help me with this. So being the best kept secret, this is all about market audacity. And there is a difference between marketing and market audacity. Marketing is when I'm putting out information. I'm not even putting out information. I'm just letting you know who I am. Hey, I'm Dawnna. I'm CEO of Fyrebrand. And what does Fyrebrand do? That's a nice way of letting everybody say. That's a nice way of you saying, hey, y'all need to look at me. That's all that is. That's a look at me moment. Nothing else other than look at me. Marketing is just brand recognition. When they see the little flame, they see the little firebrand flame, they're like, oh, I know who that is. Oh, they see the first name Dawnna, I know who that is. Right? That's all that is. Market audacity is a little different. That is where you're actually marketing in such a way that you are generating leads. And not all of the things you do on social media should be lead generating. Not everything should be, you need to go and sign up for my XYZ. Chanel, I know one of the things that you have in a social media domination perspective is, and I just had my social media domination book open yesterday because I was moving and I was looking at it, is that you have categories in which people should post. Would you mind sharing a couple of those categories?
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually have it up right this moment because I quite a bit. But Donna's right. Like a lot of times we think that all we're doing on social media is selling, and we are social selling, but we're not just saying click here, buy me. Right. Like if you constantly saw somebody doing it, it's almost like when you go to a networking event back pre-COVID, when you would go to, these events, and the minute somebody walks up to you, they hand you a business card. And you're like, dude, I don't even know you. Like, I don't necessarily even want your business card. That's what it happens. That's what it looks like from a social media standpoint. It's all we're doing every single time we show up is say, buy me, buy me, buy me. So you want to use your social media to educate people about your service. Think about like 5 things that your ideal client, your potential client needs to know about you, your service, your industry before they get on the phone with you. Those are things that you can educate the client about. You want to build connection and tell stories so that they can resonate and relate to you as a person, and showing up as a real person, right? And then thinking about like how you can inspire, how you can motivate your audience, how you can show that you're a real person. And then you go in for the sale and say, hey, I'm hosting this masterclass on April 12th, click the link in my bio to sign up. So, but when you've primed your audience in a way that you've educated them and you've gotten them to engage and connect with your stories and your personal life, and just showing that you're a real person, it makes that social selling piece of it a lot easier, because then they get to know you as a real person. They get to know your thought process. They get to know what it's like to work with you as a coach because they see your face, they hear your voice. And then when you post up your masterclass or your boot camp, then it makes it an easier sale because they're waiting for it. They want to work with you. They're just asking for it. They're just waiting for you to ask them to do it.
Absolutely. And that's what we're looking for, right? It's not about that constant push, 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 push. And one of the reasons that people are the best kept secret is they go into LinkedIn, they connect with somebody, and then they go, hey, I was looking at your profile. And you know what I was thinking? You could use all the stuff that I'm selling right now. And for a low, low price of $9.99, you too can be a part of my very, like, stop, y'all. No, 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 no. Listen, if you want to know how to connect with people, and I'm going to use LinkedIn and then I'll use other ways. If you really want to know how to connect with people on LinkedIn, especially when you're trying, and I just shared this with Doug, if you guys hear from Doug, Doug is my coaching officer. He is absolutely amazing. So don't be mad, be like, that's not Dawnna, that's Doug. Doug is my right hand. If you hear, I was just talking to Doug about this the other day, and I said, yeah, what people really need to understand, what they really need to do is they got to take social media the way they would behave offline. If I saw you in a networking group and I walked up to you and I said hi and you said hi back, the first thing I'd ask you is, so tell me a little bit about what you do. Or I'd say, hey, I saw your business card the other day and I went and checked out your website and this is what I saw. That's really interesting. How did you get into that? Stop going at people and saying, you need to buy from me right now. You can do client engagement, but don't do client engagement in such a way that people feel like it's a spray and pray moment. You don't know me, you don't give a damn about me, but you want my money. No, absolutely not. If you're going to engage with someone on LinkedIn, for example, if you're going to do client engagement and you're going to go on social media doing client engagement, then the way you want to do it is you want to do it as if you are at a networking event and you actually give a damn about what they do first. The reason that I don't go on social media and push my stuff is, quite honestly, not everybody's qualified to get my stuff. And so I really need to know about them before I let them come into my sphere, come into my world. I have to protect my clients. I have to protect my Chanels, my Tracys, my Renees of the world. I have to protect my clients. And what I need to do in order to protect them is I need to vet everybody walking in the door. Because when they walk in the door and become a client of mine, then Chanel trusts that this is going to be an amazing person to work with. Rudy's going to trust that this is an amazing person. Tracy's going to trust that this is an amazing person. My clients trust that the people that I let in to be Fyrebrand family members are amazing people. So I have a job to do. You need to treat your business like a private club by making sure that the people who come in there work with the people who are already in there. That's when you know you've created a true brand where people go, there's a pride associated with it. You need to create your list. There is a Fyrebrand family member list. And we're very funky about it. And not everybody that I coach, by the way, is a Fyrebrand family member. They have to make it all the way to the mansion to get that. Right. And so you want to make sure that you're engaging with people from a client engagement perspective that actually makes sense for them. Not for you, that makes sense for them. Start there. Don't go out just pimping and pushing your product. All right, I'm going to talk one more time about Fyrebrand Bootcamp, and then I'm going to go into the sales frenzy, and I'm going to share with you the top 3 questions that you want to ask in order to increase sales. And what I want to show you how to do is how to make sales and selling effortless. So, Fyrebrand Bootcamp is happening April 28th, 29th, and 30th. It is a full day. It is a true boot camp. It's not one of those where Donna's going to stand there and pitch to you for 3 days. That's not happening. It is coaching. So you're going to learn something. You're going to do something. We're going to validate what you're getting ready to put out there. And then you're going to put it out. Then you're going to learn something else. You're going to do something else. We're going to validate that. And then you're going to put it out. And it is a constant iteration of learning, doing, validating, pressing the button. Learning, doing, validating, pressing the button. Nobody is walking across the stage and pitching at you for 3 days. When you got time for that, you got work to do. First day is all about market audacity. How can you create the type of lead generating activities that drive clients to want to work with you, that gets your phone to ring. I can tell you right now, since I've been on the phone, I've seen about 8 leads come in. How do you make 8 leads come into and this isn't from here. This is just 8 leads, right? How do you do the kind of lead generating activity where leads are literally hitting your inbox while you're doing something else? That's number 1. Number 2 is client engagement. Now that you have those leads, how do you communicate with them in such a way that you're not pushing, but that you're taking them through the gauntlet of disqualification to ensure that they should be people that you spend time on the phone with? What does that funnel look like? Where should they come into that funnel and where should they be dropping out at? Not everybody that gets in your funnel should become a part of your clientele. And then number 3 is sales frenzy. You will discover how to do what you do naturally. Do you know that almost all sales books are written for people who are already in sales? They're already sales pros. What I teach is coaching for the sale. It teaches you how to use your natural skills as a coach to close more deals and takes away that awkward, icky feeling of selling, which sucks, right? So that's what those 3 days are about. Our goal, our goal is that you walk away, that you literally walk away either with potential sales, in other words, people have gotten on your list, or that you've actually done a sale while at the event. We want you to get your return on investment before you walk out the door. That is so important to us. And if you don't get the return on investment before you walk out the door, we want to know that you have the potential of these leads on your calendar, ready to have calls with you within the next 24 to 48 hours so that you can actually close that deal. And we want you to be prepared to have those sales conversations. That's what we're looking for. That for us is a win every day, twice on Sunday. And I think, Chanel, when you were at the retreat, we actually did one of those days. I think Ruben led it, where we did this little thing where people were getting leads. Did you get a couple of leads that day when you did that activity?
Yeah, really fun way, but it does put you on the spot. And but I the reason why I like it is because it's very interactive, and it's not like you said, just sitting in a conference all day, you're scrolling through your phone. Okay, when is this over? It's like, no, I'm going to teach you something, and then boom, I need you to go do it. And that way we can fix some things, we can implement it, but we can also tweak your messaging right there on the spot. So no, we did that exercise and loved it.
Yeah, yeah, I love the and you know me. Listen, I got a short attention span. I need to learn something and do it right now because I don't got that kind of patience. And that's why I teach that way because I'm like, no, no, no. I learned this. I want to go do it right now. The one thing that I love that was at the top of this program when we first started was I said, if you got too many commas in your expertise, you ain't got no commas in your bank account. People are like, they went over to their LinkedIn profile. They're like, let me go change my profile right now. So that's how we started off our hour. All right. So the last thing I'm going to talk to you about a little bit is sales frenzy. So you get on a call with somebody and they say, and I got to go check the comments over here because I've been doing a bad job at that. Let me just check. I'm doing okay. Okay. So I want you to go and I want you to go over to the comments and I want you to be honest, honest, truth, truth. Here it goes. Somebody calls you and they say, hey, I was just checking out your social media stuff. So glad I was able to get on your calendar. And I would love for you to tell me about your program. What is the first thing that when they say, I want you to tell me about your program, that you do? And be honest, what's the first thing that you do? Because I'm going to tell you what I used to do. So go in the comments and just let me know. Someone hits you up and they say, I saw your stuff on social media. I've checked out your website already. I'm so happy to be on your calendar and I'm glad you took my call. Can you tell me a little bit more about your program? What do you do in that moment? Do you start A, telling them about your program? B, asking them how much you're willing to invest and then talk about the cost of the program? C, start asking them a little bit about themselves, where they found you at? Or D, you do something else? Like, what are you doing on there?
And one more time, what are the choices again?
Okay, so A, you go, okay, they ask you about your program. Let me tell you about my program. That's A. You ask me about my program, I'm gonna answer the question. B, you're gonna ask them a little bit like, okay, well, wait a minute. Where did you find me again? What social media did you find? You're gonna do a little research on how they found you. That's B. C, you're gonna say, well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a little bit something about you and why this program is right for you. D, you're gonna do something else. So that's A, B, C, and D. Let's see what we got. C. Jared put C. Great question. What are your goals? Try to disqualify them. Start asking about himself. Great room. C. That's right. So if y'all put C, absolutely. You want to ask them about them first. I can't tell you how many times that I talk to people on the phone. And the first thing they do is I say, well, tell me a bit about your program. And they say, well, it's happening April 28th, 29th, and 30th. And it's this and it's that and it's the other. And it's. And they tell you everything about the program. What you really want to do is take this person through what I call the gauntlet of disqualification. If you are treating your business like a private club and not like a public park, then you need to make sure that only qualified people get in. So I'm going to share with you the first 3 questions, or 3 question categories that you should be asking every client. There are 3 question categories. Here they are. Number 1. So I understood that you saw me on social media, you saw that stuff. So what's going on in your world that made you want to stop on that particular post and jump on a call with me? What we're really trying to find out is, why is this important to them right now? So what's going on in your world that makes this important to you right now? That's question 1. What's going on in your world? This is an important question because it lays out for you the positive and negatives about the situation that the person is currently in, right? So if somebody goes, well, Dawnna, I heard you on ClubHouse and I love the live coaching. I'm running a killer business. I'm making good money, but I still feel like I'm the best kept secret. I don't necessarily get the ideal clients that I want. Sometimes I'm taking on clients that I know I shouldn't take on because they had the money. And I'm trying to get out of that world of doing that all the time. And the one thing you talked about was turning a 6-week program into a 6-figure program. I got a 6-week program. How do I turn that into a 6-figure program? I'm really interested in doing that. It gives me a view. That one question gives me a view of that person's world. And it lets me know pretty early on whether or not I can help them. Because they might come to me and say, listen, I don't even know what B2B and B2C is. I've never sold 2 things in my life. And I really don't have an area of expertise. I'm just tired of working for these mofos. Might not necessarily be my ideal client, right? But asking that first question. So the very first question, what's going on in your world? Question number 2. So what's frustrating you about your current situation, and what are you struggling with? What's frustrating you about your current situation, and what are you struggling with? So let me talk about the difference between a frustration and a struggle. Frustration is all the things that they've tried to do and they failed at. And they'll tell you straight up, well, listen, I tried to do post every day for 1,000 days on LinkedIn, and I still only got 5 followers and I only get 3 views, right? I tried to put a social media post every day on Instagram. I tried to do, right? And so they'll tell you the things that they tried to do that didn't work. And that's frustrating because they can't figure out why it didn't work. And then what are you struggling with? What you're struggling with is what you're currently doing, right? I'm struggling to keep doing these posts. I'm struggling to find my ideal client. I'm struggling to figure out what my product and my price point should be. I'm struggling to figure out how long this challenge I'm doing should be. I'm struggling to know what the boot camp should be. I don't even know how to put together my value proposition, my positioning statement, or my USP. Those are always foreign to me. I'm struggling to do that. So listen, the thing about the struggle is, struggle means you ain't gave up. So it's okay to struggle. But knowing what their struggles are will also help you identify with what they currently feel is top of mind for them to correct. What they're frustrated with, what they've tried, you don't want to go and tell them now. If they told you, listen, I put a post up every day for 1,000 days on LinkedIn, the last thing you want to do is tell them to go and put up a post a day for 1,000 days on LinkedIn, because they're going to cuss you out. They've already tried that. They don't want to do that again. Things that people have already tried, they're usually not willing to do right away. So I would not make that a part of my solution. And here's your third question. If you don't do anything, if things just stay the way they are, if you just take these couple of nuggets that I gave you on this call, because I didn't drop all my knowledge, I just gave you some things that you can use right now. If you just take those couple of nuggets and you implement those couple of nuggets and you don't do anything, where do you think your business is going to be in the next 6 months? Where do you want it to be? Do you think I gave you enough nuggets to get you from where you are to where you want to be in the next 6 months? Because I can tell you I didn't. What is it going to cost you to stay right there? because staying where you are is actually more expensive than making an investment to get where you want. Those are the first 3 questions that you ask your clients. And asking these questions will literally open up everything that you need to know. Everything that you need to know from them to determine whether they're your ideal client or not. You can ask questions if you want to take them through the gauntlet of disqualification of their willingness. Willingness is something I love to get into. Number one, I talked to somebody the other day and I said, she told me that she had this program that she had on video and that she really wanted to get that video was going to be her moneymaker, and said, well, how much money did you put aside to invest in marketing? And she said, nothing. I ain't got no money. And I'm like, oh, do you have 1 million followers? Oh, you don't have 1 million followers. So you don't have any money to invest in marketing and you don't have 1 million followers. But this particular video series is going to make you $1 million. Do you know something I don't know? Like, is there a secret sauce out there I'm not aware of? Let me go and call Chanel, because maybe Chanel know and I didn't know. Like, what?
Let me comment on her LinkedIn and get her 200.
Yeah, go and do that comment real quick, Chanel. Right? So I like to ask the investment question, because quite honestly, if someone has absolutely no money to invest at all, then they haven't really come to the table ready to build a business. They haven't really come to the table looking for a solution. They're looking for freebies. And let me tell you something. You cannot cobble together an amazing business with no money. I know everybody's like, oh, but Steve Jobs did it from his garage and so did Bill Gates. Nobody ever asked these people how much did they invest. They think because they were in their garage, everything was free. I'm going to tell you something right now. Computer parts ain't free. They had to pay for those. They still had to make an investment. And so I do like asking the question. So what's your investment strategy right now? What are you looking at to invest in your business? Because I'm a big believer on 10x ROI, if not 20. And quite honestly, I'm a believer in exponential ROI. So what's your investment strategy right now in order to make this happen? If their investment strategy is 0, they're probably not your ideal client. If they balk at $2,500 to $5,000 for me to get started, then they're probably not my ideal client. If they're not willing to go through even our financing so that it could be paid for by other people's money while they're making money, then they're not my ideal client, right? And so you need to have that investment question. Second and third question that you want to ask for the gauntlet of disqualification is, how much time are you willing to take off your calendar every week? Are you willing to spend the 4, 5, 6 hours? Are you willing to do that? Because if they're not willing to invest the time, they're not your ideal client. I'm going to say that one more time. If they're not willing to carve out the time, they're not your ideal client. Your ideal client needs to make a commitment to carve out the time. When Chanel was in the program, we had classes every Saturday with work that you had to do. We don't call it homework. They were business building activities. So every Saturday, you get your business building activity that needed to be done well before the next Saturday. And it was every week. So if people were like, yeah, I can't do that every week. I can tell you right now, the people who decided not to show up to those are the people who failed the program. They failed, they struggled in the program. And the first thing they would tell you was, well, the program wasn't right for them. The program was right for them. They weren't right for the program. They made a choice not to commit to Saturday mornings for an hour and a half to 2 hours. The third question was, so I get that you're willing to show up. I'm willing to understand. I understand that you are willing to carve out the time. During that time, are you willing to do the work? Because you can go sit at your computer all you want, but if you don't actually do the work, it doesn't matter. If you're not willing to get on my calendar and call me when you're struggling, when you're having questions, if you're not willing to do your homework before you get on the call with me, if you're not willing to do all the business building activities. I don't give a damn how much time you carve out. You have to be willing to do the work. So those are the three things you need to ask for from your clients. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to make the investment? Are you willing to carve out the time? If the answer to those three things are no, because number four won't even matter. If they don't do the first three, the fourth question don't matter. And the fourth question that's on my gauntlet of disqualification, are you willing to trust the damn process? Because again, if they're not willing to trust the process, it doesn't work. Those are the things you're looking at when you're having that sales conversation. It doesn't have to get harder than that. And we do a really, really, really amazing job on teaching non-salespeople how to sell without feeling all icky like a salesperson. In fact, Chanel, I think you actually had a couple of calls with Michael, didn't you?
Yep, I did. And he was very good about walking me through, asking what the next best question is. How did you leave it? You know, what are the next steps? How did you feel during the call? Was there something else that you could have asked? So having that prompt and having that second set of eyes to just give you that, you know, reassurance that either A, you're on the right track, or two, that
Mm-hmm.
you have tweaks to make is really important.
You know, Chanel, I think one of my favorite conversations with it was me, you, and Michael. And by the way, Michael is our coaching. He's our sales officer, our chief sales officer, and he teaches everyone how to coach for the sale. I think one of my favorite conversations with you, Chanel, was Michael had coached you before a call, for a big sales call, and he said, and he was asking you some questions, and he was asked you how it felt, and you were like, no, but it wasn't really a sales call. Like, I really wasn't selling at all. And he's like, okay, well, let's go from the top. Did you ask him what was going on in the world? You're like, yeah, I did. Okay. And then you gave him that feedback. And then he's like, okay, did you find out what they were frustrated with? Yeah, I did. I asked him. And then he's like, okay. And did you find out what it would cost? And you take him through the gauntlet of disqualification. You're like, I sure did. And he goes, okay. And when you got around to this part right here, where you're talking about your product and everything, and that's where you start talking about your stuff. Were they interested? He goes, yeah, they actually signed. And he goes, yeah, Chanel, that was sales. You remember that conversation?
Yes, and it just felt so the coaching to the sell piece of it, it just makes it's a conversation, really. It's conversation,
Mm-hmm.
it's relationship building, but it doesn't have to feel slimy. It's not the old school. Because I used to be a telemarketer way back in the day where you're like, okay, I got to get as many calls, as many people, slam them into this offer. It's a conversation and learning about your clients so that you can come up with a good solution for them, and the solution actually that they want and that they're asking for, you're just getting to know their business better.
Yeah, it was so funny though, because you were like, no, it wasn't a sales call. Michael's like, no, no, hon, that was a sales call. Like, that's what it should feel like, you know.
Right.
It was absolutely hilarious. It was the funniest thing ever. So I love that. So that's what I have for you today. Does anyone have any questions? Um, I'm just going through the comments real quick. It's really bad because I don't have on my glasses, so I know there's comments there. I'm trying to read them. I have
Yeah,
no
actually,
idea.
I can
Go
read
ahead.
one off.
Thank you. Thanks.
So one question that came up from Netta was, how can you scale and automate this kind of business?
This kind of coaching business.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking she's saying. I've been trying to invite her to the stage to clarify, but she's new to Clubhouse. She's having trouble getting up.
Okay. So here's the thing. The first thing I would say is there is, number one, a way to scale, but scaling actually starts, and this is where people screw this up. Scaling actually starts in your lead magnet area and not in your final area. This is what I mean by that. So right now, we're doing a whole proof of concept in regards to boot camps, right? And so right now for these boot camps, I'm going out and I'm doing all the coaching. Boot camps are actually a lead magnet into a bigger program. Challenges are a lead magnet into a bigger program. And so not that we don't 100% pour into, because we do pour into, that is our biggest sales strategy, is we coach for the sales. So we coach our ass off to show you that this, we can get you to the next level. And so what you scale initially is the beginning parts. You scale the boot camps. In other words, you don't have be the only person delivering boot camps. You have other people who can deliver boot camps. You're not the only one who could deliver the challenge. Other people could deliver the challenge. And then those people create the leads and opportunities for the higher level programs that you're in. But eventually what you do is you get to that point where you have all these people doing delivering boot camps for you. You have all these people delivering challenges for you, and they are leading them into your higher level programs. That is the number one and fastest way to scale. The other way that you can actually make money, which is different from scaling, now we're just talking about financial growth. The other way that you can make financial growth, where people do make this mistake quite often, is they will go, oh, I'm going to make this video program that people can buy and watch, and then they can get into my other program. Do it the other way around. Get people into your program and then have these higher level offerings that they can buy into. See, here's the thing. If somebody comes into my program as a $15,000 attendee, if I go and sell them something for $5,000, it's a cakewalk because they've already spent $15,000. If I have an attendee that came in at $99, selling them something for $5,000 or $10,000 feels damn near impossible. People do it backwards. They're always doing the funnel from cheap to expensive. Do the funnel from high price to low. It's much easier to sell. So that's one way you could scale it. I hope that answered the question.
All right, dope. And I see Grace popped up. So Grace, thanks for coming to the stage. What kind of question do you have for her?
Hi, thank you so much for having me up. I definitely wanted to connect with some experts, and this is the topic. I'm a life coach, a certified life coach. I'm a self published author. I help women break free of codependency. I help mothers deal with high conflict family court battles, but I can't seem to get any one-on-one paid coaching clients, and I did like 3 weeks of free coaching calls, and
Hmm.
none of them signed up. And then they can go to my groups and they can get support from the groups, but they're really making a lot of mistakes in their custody case because they're not working with wisdom. They're just totally unraveled, but usually they're also financially abused and they don't have the money to spend. So someone told me, well, you need to change your ideal client. And I really have a heart for helping these women because it helps the children be with a protective parent. It could be a woman or a father, but I work with women and I just don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I can tell you.
Go for it.
All right. So the first thing so they are right. You are selling to you said it yourself. You're like, they don't have money. Why aren't they paying me? I can tell you why. Because they don't have money. So you do, however, have a heart to want to give back. That's a big part of your business. So this is what you do. You have to have clients that you charge for, and then you have a percentage of that you give back. People don't know this because I don't advertise it. I don't publish it at all. You will never find it on a website. You will never know who the people are. There are people that I 100% give back to because I want to. They are people that, and usually they're referred to me by other family members. They'll say, hey, so there'll be a family member there like, listen, I know this person doesn't have the money. I know they don't have the money, but I would like to see if they can get the scholarship this year or they can get the partial scholarship, right? And so there are people that I will give back to. Most people don't know it. I only, like for my events, I only work with small businesses. So like Chanel, what's Leslie's last name in her
Freelo.
business? Right.
Oh, the wine with the wine concierge.
Right. So Leslie Freeland with the wine concierge, she supplies the wine at Fire Fam or Fyrebrand mansion retreats. Right. She supplies the wine and she knows how to pair. I don't know anything about wine. I just learned about tannins the other day. Right. And so I only work with certain businesses, but there are certain people that I definitely want to pour into that come to the program that I've invested in. And we come up with some type of, maybe it's bartering or something like that for them to be there. So you do need to first identify your ideal client who will pay you so that way you can have a give back for the people who can't. Because people who come to you for free can usually only afford or want to pay for free.
You just gave me a great idea. So, I need help managing my Facebook accounts,
Hmm.
private groups, because the women are posting all over. They're in a hot mess with their ex. What do they do? Blah, blah, blah. And, bartering with some of these women and having them moderate and just keep an eye on the posts and response so that they can get coaching from me to improve their custody case would be a
Hmm.
really smart move. I like what you're saying about, you know, go for the paid clients so that then I can have like a scholarship program. That's a
Yep.
really great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. That way they recognize two things. Number one, you do value your time and your expertise, and so should they. Like, you should demand that value, right? But then on the other side, it's and I also give a damn. Like, I legitimately do give a damn, right? And here's the thing though, people make mistakes because of what they don't know, right? And so while you're saying they're making critical mistakes, they're making those critical mistakes because they don't know. So what I would challenge you to do is, instead of giving up your time, maybe make a couple of, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute really quick videos, and then say something like, listen, one of the number one mistakes that moms make is XYZ. If you want to know how not to make critical mistake, and let me take that back, one of the most critical mistakes that mom makes is XYZ, and that mistake leads to ABC. If you want to avoid mistakes like this and know exactly what to do, then get into my 3-day $97 challenge, where you're going to discover ABCDEFG. Right? It doesn't have to be expensive for it to be valuable. You could do something for $97. You can see how that goes, and do something for $127, but do a really short 3-day challenge. What are the salient things they need to know? And then you have an opportunity now to sell those people into a higher program. Don't do free challenges. Stop doing free shit, because you know what you're going to get? Free people.
That's what happened. I was doing free, 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 and I burned totally out on free. And
Yeah.
someone told me, like, they're not going to value anything they don't pay for.
They're not going to
And
value what you don't value. You don't even value it enough to put a dollar amount on it. Why should they?
that's a good point. I I value my time though, and that's why I started getting angry at the end of 3 weeks. It's like, whoa, I just gave them an hour strategy session, and that would cost a typical $150, $200. But the problem is that those clients were financially abused. They had no money. Some are homeless. So that's where I'm like, I think I need to just change my ideal client, like,
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah, you have to change. Listen, I'm not telling you can't give back. You absolutely can give back. Listen, and I'm not going to tell you the name of the organizations at all. But I was homeless when I was 19. I give back to a bunch of organizations, a lot. However, I charge my clients where they can afford it, right? But that affords me the ability to give back, right? And that's what I want to do. So you have to first put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on someone else. And when you give your time away for free, and when you give your knowledge away for free, you're literally saying, well, that's how much I think it's worth.
Yeah, my hours are worth more than free. I do feel like I wanted to make a real difference in the world,
So let me
and
ask you this. Do you think, and I'm just going to use the Apple iPhone, and I'm going to use Bill Gates. Do you think Bill Gates and Steve Jobs made a difference in the world?
yes,
Did they give anything away for free?
I don't think so. I don't know.
No, they didn't. They didn't. You cannot get an Apple iPhone for free, and you could not get a PC for free,
No.
right? But they
Right.
still made a difference in the world.
Right. And I put it in my mind that I'll start it off this way, and I'll ask for testimonials to build a testimonial page, and some didn't even bother to write a testimonial back, and I gave them a complete brainstorm for an hour. So I now am gonna charge. I thought, well, I'll just charge an initial consultation, a low, affordable initial consultation, to catch those women who are so broke they they really need that they can't pay $100 a session.
But let me
But
ask you this though. So I'm going to even back you off of that a little bit. Instead of you giving them the consultation, I know for sure there are a shit ton of resources out there already for people like that. Can't you point them to those free resources and you not be that resource? Can't the
that
resource can't the resource that you are is a pointer to the resources that can help them that are free? Because I know there's a bunch of them.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I came to. That was the conclusion. It's like, you know what?
Okay.
No more free because I'm burnt out, and I have a free blog. You could read everything there
Yeah,
and learn, you
and
know.
if people aren't willing to fish, I'm not gonna go there and get tartar sauce. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what I'm gonna do. So you really need to say, hey, here where the free resources are, but if you need some premium help, this is what it is. And also, I would challenge you to stop trading dollar time for dollars and come up with a flat rate for X amount of time. Like, hey, it's $4,000 for my 3 month program or whatever you want to do. I'm just using that as an example. um, I would challenge you to even change that a little bit.
Okay, so like if I did 3 months for $3,000, they get a 1 hour weekly coaching session. Is that how you do it?
Well, I do open coaching. I don't have anything where it's only one hour for, you get on my calendar when you need to get on my calendar. That's
Okay.
Yeah, I really always believe people are grown-ups. They get on my calendar when they need to get on my calendar. It's common sense coaching. And if you don't have common sense to know how to use my coaching calendar, then I don't change my calendar. I change you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for talking straight to me.
You're so very
I
welcome. I try to do that. I try to talk straight. Didn't always happen.
I I got a quick question for you, Rhonda,
Yeah.
that you brought up. So you said Microsoft and Apple don't give anything away for free, right?
Their tech. Yeah.
And yeah, so I had a friend who's the head of Microsoft educational sales for Europe, and he
Hmm.
says, and I asked him, there's so much stealing of software and just constantly copying, and your software is everywhere. It's like no one pays
Hmm.
for it because it's free. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And he's like, we don't mind, we don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, we just want our software out there, whether they pay for it or not, for market dominance. How can we
But
be
that's not how they started. That's
right?
where they are
Right. True.
today. But they're
Yeah.
what, almost $1 trillion company today. That's not where they
True.
started.
True. 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 I just want to
Yeah.
get do we put stuff out there for free to create that market dominance or that market?
That's where small businesses make their mistake. They try to copy what $1 trillion company is doing, who can afford to have a loss leader, when what they really need to look at is what did that company do to start off. And I'm going to use Apple. Apple came out with a phone that was twice as expensive as any phone that was on the market, and they didn't give a phone away for free. Those companies don't actually start giving back until their accountant tells them that they need a write-off. Most of us ain't in that situation.
No, I get that now because it was like, okay, you want to create that brand awareness and put stuff out there for people, but then at what
Yeah.
point do you do that?
Right. And the thing is, what happens is you can make brand awareness without giving your stuff away for free. And what happens is so many people, like, this is the limit of what I do for free, right? And even this is very general, and people aren't getting the deep detail like on the phone with me. Like Chanel can tell you, like, Dawnna giving y'all knowledge, but you're not getting the gold. Like the gold is even deeper, right? And so what happens is, a lot of times, and this is where I find it most interesting, a lot of times people will think that they have eaten the meal at the table when all I've actually given them was crumbs. And I'm like, y'all ain't even got to the table yet. You still like hanging out on the floor, right? When I give you gold, you'll know, because you'll be like, I'm full, and I'm about to go make $1 million, right? So don't get confused with what a company like a Microsoft and an Apple are doing today as compared to when they started. When they started, they didn't give away anything for free, and they charged more than most.
So, Donna, I got a question. If
Yeah.
somebody wants to get to the gold, they don't want the crumbs, they want the whole meal. How do they
Yep.
get that?
They should go to Fyrebrand. Fyrebrand.net, firebrand.net. The link is right up there. Um, we're having a boot camp. It is the 28th, 29th, and 30th. And then if you want to, and that the boot camp is $2,500. If you want the coaching, the month of coaching, and you can spread that coaching out however you want. You can go, I want 2 weeks before the boot camp, 2 weeks after. I want a month before the boot camp. It doesn't matter. I don't really care how you do it. Some people want a month after the boot camp. It's up to you how you split your time. That's not really my responsibility. And that's 2,500 if you want the VIP ahead of time. The VIP ahead of time, make sure that you have your expertise, your ideal client, your product, and your pricing all laid out. Then the actual boot camp is where we work on your market audacity, your client engagement, and sales frenzy. Our goal is for you to walk away with that return on investment. I either want you to have the number of clients on your calendar that will give you your return on investment, or I want you to make those sales before you leave. That's what we're looking for. And we're even working something right now where we're trying to give people a certain number of leads before they leave. I was just talking to my chief marketing officer about that yesterday as a value add. So this is what that boot camp is about. And if you're like, I can't do the boot camp, that's not right for me right now, don't worry, go there anyway, get on the calendar, and then we can define if there's a coaching program within our organization that's right for you. Because we do have a 3-month coaching program, a 6-month coaching program, and then for those who want it, we have the Mansion Retreat coaching program. So we do have programs that fit. And again, they're 3 months, 6 months, and the Mansion Retreat program. Those are the 3 main programs that we have. And it's all about shattering your revenue ceiling, stop being the best kept secret, and getting more clients on demand. We take you from your expertise, your ideal client, your product, your market engagement, your market attraction, your client engagement, and your sales frenzy so that you can actually do that. Did that answer the question for you, Jared?
That did. That did. So I just want to thank the audience for being here. This has been an amazing room. Ahmed, thank you for all the questions. Grace, thank you for the questions. Everybody that came up and contributed questions, thank you so much. Make sure that you connect with Dawnna, Chanel on all their social media, LinkedIn, etc. But most importantly, take a chance in investing in yourself. At least take the call. Donna's not going to bring you in unless she thinks you're going to be a rock star and you're going to represent the Fyrebrand well. So she's not just like that's the thing I like about Dawnna the most is that she's not just talking it like to create urgency and scarcity, but she just wants to bring everybody in. Like she's serious. Like if she
Right.
doesn't think that you can make money with her, she's not going to take your money. But if she does take your money, then you're going to be making money. So if you have the
Right.
confidence to do that, definitely click the link at the top and connect with Dawnna.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And hey, Karina, I see you. Yeah, she says I feel bad calling people broke. That's okay, hon. But we know broke. So the term broke means generally that the bottom of your pockets were broken. They were unstitched, and so your money was falling out. That's where that actually comes from. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It means that your wallet was broken or that your pockets were broken. That's where the term comes from. And so when people don't have money, they're considered quote broke, and not broken, just broke. And so people don't have to stay broke. That's my favorite thing. There's definitely a way to stitch up your pocket, put your money in it, and keep it in it. And if you're really smart, learn how to invest it. So I just want you guys to know that it's really a big deal for me to help entrepreneurs truly get that return on investment and really, really recognize that not everyone is meant to work in someone's company. Some people just aren't meant to be someone's employee. And most of the time we say we don't fit in. Well, you don't fit in because you were too big for them. So now you need to be out here doing your thing on your own. And what I want you to do, I want to leave you with this. Don't just first you need to know I've never been hated on, ever. Never been hated on by someone who was crushing it harder than me. The people who always hated me were usually not doing the things that I was doing, and they were mad that I was doing them. So I don't want you to just get attention. I want you to be so epic that your haters have plenty to talk about. Because winners like you who are on here, who do big shit and take big risk, they can brag about it. Don't stay hidden, stay hungry, stay humble. Do the things that you need to do by saying yes to the things that scare the hell out of you. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking there right now, I can't talk to Dawnna because I'm not ready. I'm not ready to talk to her. I'm going to get on there and she's going to, she's going to be too hard on me. I swear to you, I'm not. Chanel can probably tell you I'm actually really nice. Even though I'm straightforward. Oh, she was going to tell you she changed her
No,
mind.
no, I was just gonna say I want it, but for me personally, I want a coach that's gonna be straight with me. If I,
Right.
that's what we're paying for, right? And that's what we're investing in. We're investing our time, investing in the resources, investing in the financial way. You want somebody that's gonna be like, nah, that's some bullshit. Like, don't do that. Like, you don't want
but
somebody
love you anyway. But love you anyway.
right, exactly. Like, don't make that mistake. Like, I've seen that happen before. Don't do it. But do this instead. So yes, I
Right.
like that. It's not tough love to me, it's coaching out of love and directing you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing. If you wait until you're ready, quite honestly, you probably waited too late. And that's what I see a lot of people do. A lot of people say, I have to wait until I'm ready. Don't wait until you're ready. Because by the time you wait until you're ready, do you know if people waited until they was ready to have babies, we probably wouldn't have no kids on this planet, right? Don't wait until you're ready, because if you wait until you're ready, you are really going to wait too late. You don't have to be fearless. You have to be courageous. And I get people on the phone all the time who go, oh my God, I'm so nervous to get on the phone with you, or I'm so nervous to come up to stage. Seriously, I am not going to, Ahmed came up. He all right. You all right, right, Ahmed? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. This is great, man. This is
Okay, see, I didn't hurt Ahmed. He's all right. So don't live in regret where you're looking back 6 months later and then say, "Dang, when is she doing another boot camp?" I might not. So don't just think that 'cause I used to do a 6-week program that Chanel talked about, and I have a whole bunch of people that say, "Dang, I wish I could have gotten to your 6-week program." Like, you could have got into it when I was offering it, but you chose not to get in at that time. So don't wait. Don't wait until you're ready. Seriously, stop waiting until, well, I'm gonna wait until my taxes come in. I'm gonna wait until I get this extra money. I'm gonna wait until. Don't do that. Take the chance now. Put a fire under your behind and jump in with both feet and go for it. And don't be afraid. I'm a great swimmer. I'm not gonna let you drown. I got your back, but I can't do it for you unless you take the chance and believe in yourself. Again, we don't have these boot camps where there's 1,000 people in them. We literally have them where there's like 20, 25. Like, they're not super packed. And we do that on purpose because we want to be able to pour into everybody that's walking in. That's all I got for y'all today. Please follow me. Number one. Number two, please go to firebrandbootcamp.com or firebrand.net. Go ahead and click on schedule time to talk with Dawnna and make sure you get on a calendar with me. And you'll either get me or you'll get Doug. Regardless, I always end up on the phone. So just get on the call with us. Let's see how we can help you. Again, the investment, if you're wondering, is $2,500 for the boot camp, $2,500, additional $2,500 for the boot camp, plus the VIP coaching. This is something, if you are a coach, trust me when I tell you, this is something that will change the game for you. And I mean, we're talking about shattering your revenue ceilings. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you follow Chanel and Ahmed and Grace and everybody who's on here. Thank you so much. I cannot tell you when I'm going to be on again because I haven't decided yet, but I'll let you know when I am.
Thank you.
You are so very welcome. I can't wait to see how you crush it. I'll talk to everyone later. Have a fantastic one.